Satish Lakharaju is the CEO of NextGen Logistics, a rapidly growing player in the Indian logistics sector. With over 3 decades of experience in the industry, he brings a wealth of knowledge and expertise to his role. Before joining NextGen Logistics, Lakharaju served as the Senior Vice President and Global Head of Air Freight and Pharma at Wizz Freight. His career includes key leadership roles at prominent organizations such as TNT, Skypack, AFL Limited, and Dasher India. Prior to this tenure at Wizz Freight, Lakharaju was the Chief Commercial Officer at Agility Logistics, where he played a crucial role in driving business growth, forging strategic partnerships, and enhancing the company's market presence. Lakharaju is an esteemed alumnus of SVKMS Narsimunji Institute of Management Studies, one of the India's premier business schools. His academic prowess, combined with extensive industry experience, has equipped him with a comprehensive understanding of both theoretical framework and practical applications. Beyond corporate leadership, he also holds a significant influence in the industry as board in ACFI and the chairman of Cold Chain Unbroken. Additionally, he advises the Federation of Telangana Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Satish is renowned for his dynamic and engaging panel discussions. So please join me in welcoming Mr. Satish Lakharaju with a louder round of applause, please. Joining him for this business session is Mr. Amritendu Mukherjee, Head of Global Supply Chain, Dr. Reddy's Laboratories. Mr. Michel Coates, Director, Operations, Expo Freight Private Limited. Mr. Amritendu Mukherjee, please. Mr. Michel Coates, Mr. Arun Kumar Chakingal Nair, Head of Supply Chain, Logistics and Trade Compliance, Cohens Life Sciences Limited. Dr. K.S. Ravi, Managing Director, Innova Agri Biopark Private Limited. Mr. Mark Sach, Chief Commercial Officer, Cargo and Head of International Development, Indigo Airlines. Welcome, Mark. Welcome, moderator and the panelists. Over to you, Satish.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Is it working?
Yes.
Okay, great. I don't know what's the time, but okay, we are still in good morning, but I'm back on the stage, but this time it's more for a important business session that we want to be speaking about today. And the brainchild for putting this session is none other than me, for a simple reason that I lived here in Hyderabad for many years and I know the problems that the industry has been facing for many years in terms of the trade imbalance. So to give you all a little more of an insight on the opening remarks, while the fellow panelists are experts and who can give us more insights on what do they think and how do we get the trade imbalance set out. Hyderabad, Bangalore, Chennai, Cochin have been the forefronts of India's exports clearly, but I think some airports are doing better in terms of imports, some airports are not doing so well. The carriers also have their own set of challenges in terms of if they don't have the right amount of cargo balance, then how do they operate also, because most of the time we also have some freighter operators who operate on these routes and how can they leverage clearly. So the panel has got really a good mix of, someone like Amritendu who comes from Dr. Reddy's with good amount of experience in terms of their challenges. We've got a freight forwarder and Michelle is on it from Expo. Then we've got Marks to choose known in many ways for all the good things, and he comes in from Indigo. And then we've got another pharma exporter from Cohens who's also going to be talking about what are the opportunities that are there. And then we've got Mr. Ravi from the Innova Park in terms of the perishable sort of it. So that's basically how we're going to run this session. And we'll start probably from Amritendu itself, in the session clearly, is that with the growing demand that we see in the pharmaceuticals, particularly vaccines and biologics, the role of air cargo is always there, but we also see that there is a great amount of imbalance that exists currently in terms of how we manage capacities. So maybe out of his own experience, he can start and give us some insights, and then we can go forward with the next set of questions. Over to you, Amit.
So, thanks. Is it audible? Yeah. Okay, good morning, everybody, and thanks for inviting on this August panel. So, taking the cue, Satish, which you gave in your in earlier speech, before answering the question, let me clarify that you had asked for what we do, why we do. So yes, what we do is we produce generic medicines, and why we do it is we want to provide healthcare access to a lot of people. Currently, we are reaching out to, let's say, 500 million people. We want to reach out to 1.5 billion people. That's why we do and what we do. That is clear, okay? Now, let me come to the question. You said trade imbalance. Now, I will answer this question in two parts. First, from the industry that I represent, which is pharma, where predominantly we are taking certain materials, which is the input material, which comes as an import. Those are not time-sensitive material. Those are not low volume material. Those are high volume, time-insensitive material, low in cost. We normally plan in a manner that we don't need it like next day basis. So in all those considerations, what comes out is for transporting those input materials, even though we import it, sea is a better alternate. So in that regards, I would say ki in general, you will find that we do export more in air than the import part, is because of these aspects. For the export part, I think from an industry perspective or from the help or support that we can get from the air cargo community, we have. So we do a significant amount of export to the US, Europe, and there are major other geographies, approximately 70 countries. And the factors which are needed, I think somewhere our airports and the partners with whom we work, they are well versed, they are well equipped. It is about three factors which I mentioned for input also, that if it is time sensitive, if the cost is reasonable, and if the cargo type, the volume and all makes sense, then the choice of transport air meets that requirement. And this is as applicable for even imports, because you witnessed our journey when we did Sputnik. So in case of Sputnik, when we imported a product which was supposed to be handled below -20, we have handled from this airport in Hyderabad. And I'm very proud that in that we had all partners, we had an airport where we have damn great facilities to handle any sort of an exigency. So today also when we go for any discussion, where it is about the capabilities of the logistics partners to handle any critical product which is biological or cold chain sensitive. So we know that we have partners, we have capable partners and infrastructure available at least in our place that can handle it. So it's a decision, it's a business decision to my per se, but there are certain things which can be done. Just a hint and then I can pass it on is, when the transactions of these imports and exports happen with the partner, they happen predominantly even today in a very positional agreements. They see that transaction. I see less number of time, though it has happened couple of times. Nowadays I'm seeing that people are is interested in that part which you are describing right now, that transaction. So I think somewhere as an organization, we also don't do it in that way, that how much is my import and how much is my export, and overall look at that figure and then try to figure out a solution which is conducive for the partner. And the logistics providers also do come and then say, okay, this particular order which is for export, let us first do this. So what we have, we are very myopic in that. We try to focus, okay, this is there in my hand, let me close that. That what we will see. And internally as an organization also, I think we are yet to get into that zone where we will holistically review the overall import and that export and then take a call and do the decision. That's, I think, is the answer.
No, good. So I just tell you why this also has come up for the audience to know. I did a project for one of our companies in ocean freight where they were losing heavily on inland haulage, and to bring down the overall inland haulage, 30% of their import containers we converted into export containers. Because it's not, you can't match 100% of it, but even 30% was a good amount of sum, because the truck is anyhow coming, you're offloading the raw materials, you give it to the shipping line converts it into, and basically the cleaning and other processes are there. So you save on it. So I think one of the reasons of this topic coming in air cargo is a lot of learning that we are getting from ocean freight, and the speed at which ocean freight is now actually coming up. Sometimes we want to see how we can get the best practices out from others into the air cargo. So let me go to you, Michelle. I'm happy you are on my panel today.
Yes, Satish, I wanted to be on your panel.
So I get all type of requests, and I'm glad that you are finally on the panel. So from a forwarder standpoint, you do both imports and exports. And typically, like what Amritendu said, it happens is that you love more exports, so you push exports. It's sort of it. How do organizations like yours look in terms of the import and export balance clearly? Is there any mandate within the organizations, or it is just that what comes we handle it, or how is it that export deals with it?
Okay. Thank you, Satish. EFL, we've been in the business now for 42 years, out of which 28 years has been in India. So as a company, we've been very innovative in terms of, trying to be close to the industry and trying to give the customers whatever possible, the best possible solutions that we can offer them. Talking about imbalances, we have addressed matters of, imbalances imbalances, we have addressed matters just not within India, but even beyond the borders, because we have played a big role in bringing in shipments from Bangladesh to offset the huge imbalance that they have on the export side. We bring in shipments to Delhi, we come as far as Bangalore on the air side of it. Hyderabad, we are working with customs, who have been very supportive to give us the approvals. We started the sea freight route from Bangladesh to JNPT. We are also looking at the Far East. Whenever they have problems, we bring in shipments on the double masters. And within India, we are predominantly gone to the milk run situation, wherein, we understand most production today is in tier 2, tier 3 cities. So, and, to cut costs, as you said recently, or, cut costs and, make things faster for the client, we started to do the milk run. So, we pick up shipments, we identified, validate our routes, we drop cargoes off, and we bring them back or whatever on the export side of it. A classic example is one of the world's largest leading garment, which is in Vizag. We do the entire movements from Vizag by the Chennai airport, and then are able to ferry back the imports from Chennai and offset some via the Bangalore gateway and then move. So, we are always working on that. Today, IT is, we are working because we are progressing and, innovating IT systems in a way to support the industry. We consider ourselves now more an IT company, moving boxes all around the world, because I think IT is the key to get these imbalances, offset. So our portals are very, enhanced, so that once, it's the customers input the details, they have everything out over there. including finding, the optimized utilization that they can do on their trucks. So these are the ways and means that we are, trying to work within the industry to offset the imbalances.
Good. So I'll come back to you, but let me go to Arun Kumar, because you may probably give us a little more insight. Maybe in Amrutendu's case, it's more very heavy on ocean for the raw material to come in because there are APIs and the rest of them. But how is your case, if I have to ask you, and what are your thoughts in the matter?
Yeah. So good morning, Mr. Satish.
Yeah.
Good morning, Mr. Satish, and thanks to all of you, and thanks to ACFI and the entire forum who conducted this particular forum. And I'm very happy to see in the 31st, last day of the month, I'm seeing this much crowd in the room. It's really appreciated, and so that shows the seriousness about the topic. So in my case, we are a CDMO company, not like Amritandu, it's a product company. And so CDMO, we are working under CRAMS and other things. So we ensured our post-COVID, we had certain challenges for getting the material from China and the rest of the world. It was not coming on time due to various challenges. So from that day, we started believing in the nearshoring. That means domestic supply. So all our sources for raw material, packing material, and everything have converted to domestic source. So our 80% is domestic as of now. Only 20% dependency on the imports. That too from China and rest of the world. So in terms of trade balance, our export is more. Even in export also, 80% of the spend we are paying to air freight, because this being a CDMO, it's not a high volume metric product. It's a high value, low volume product. So that is the difference between these two. Yeah.
No, thanks, Arun. So we understand that you all want the high value to be going by air, which is quite natural. But let me go to Mr. Ravi Kumar, where the value of the product will be much lower and the freight component will be much higher. I would guess if it is perishables, it's very evident that if the cost of your perishable in terms of fruits, vegetables, but the freight will be very high. For someone like you, how does it play out if we have to ask you?
Thanks, Satish. Particularly when it comes to the specific question, what you asked is the freight. Truly, it is around 65 to 70% is the freight cost out of 100. So that means to say that there is a substantial, the difference. And the product cost is hardly not even 5-10%. So the processing cost and the service cost is nothing. So, but still, we feel that as a Innova Food Park, as a service provider, and as being an exporter, there is a tremendous the demand. Our focus is predominantly US, Australia, Canada. So there is a substantial demand. I would like to substantiate how, the kind of the costings, pre-COVID and post-COVID. The pre-COVID, just to give an example, it costs around 150 rupees to US, 180 the stretch. Now, 400, 450, whatever it is. But still, our importers are absolutely not the kind of discussions on the freight. But the challenge is, the other constraints in the cargo. Probably I would like to brief. We are one of the largest mango exporter from the South India. We are one of the best, the infrastructure, the world-class facility which we have created only to support, nurture, create, bring awareness for exports. There is the vision of our chairman, Dr. Ella Krishna, the chairman of the Bharat Biotech, is that how to support the farming and the exporters in that. So when we started, the service as being invested in crores of rupees, so we gradually entered into exports. And out of Bangalore, out of 700 metric tons, we are contributor of 90% of our export is from the Innova Food Park. But still, the next year is around 1,400, 1,500 metric tons to US and Australia alone, leave apart the other countries. So when it comes to take an example, what are the pain points, the constraints? So like for example, if we take a mango as an example, many people are talking about mango. I would like to also take an example of mango. When our 700 metric ton, we have found our 18 to 20% is the damages upon arrival. That means to say that we have not processed good quality. No, these are all pre-certified by USDA inspectors are on site. The Indian regulators. Very strict quarantine, as you are all aware. So, then what is the next question? Around 150 metric tons of no space in the airlines. We lost opportunity. Then, again, there are two, the fruits are not available. And one or the other issues, lack of space, lack of, we would have achieved 1,000 metric tons. But still, what I mean to conclude saying that the price is not the thing, but what are the other constraints, in what way the industry like us, what confidence we get to increase 100% growth in the exports. So can I take 20% damages is equal to, that is a substantial damage. So what is the kind of the support, that is a very, very challenging, and the airlines, has to give a priority to the perishables and vegetables or fruits. So we have, as we have first question which you have, highlighted, the Indian agricultural biodiversity, bio-industry as such. We are leaders in many things, many crops. World, we are the number 1 in mango, number 2 in vegetables, number 2, number 1, number 3, many of the things. But still, what is our growth, export growth of mango? Not even 0.1, it's a 0.1%. So what it means to saying that, we need to, there is a big opportunity, but the industry and, all the stakeholders need to, understand and see that, a kind of support is required to either the exporter or a farmer or a trader.
No, brilliant. I think you brought about the great opportunity before all the people sitting here on the stage, what we can do. Just to give you some numbers, during Diwali from Bangalore itself, close to 2 747s flew only with Indian sweets. Now, you can just imagine someone may saying, what are we doing? So, the Indian diaspora that I was mentioning about was really asking, I know there were scheduled flights which were already coming through one of the companies, but that is the demand that is there even for mangoes, because my business predominantly revolves around only US. And we only see a CAGR growth of 18 to 20% year on year, which means every time a H1B comes in or an Indian student goes there, the chances that he won't come are much brighter than the chances he comes back. Whether the impact of Donald Trump is going to happen or not is a different subject, but I think there's a great opportunity on the India-US route, and I think I'll now leave it to Mark asking when is Indigo going to go to the US as well. Now that you've been, 18 plus years as an airlines in the nation, and you're growing so strongly. And I think 50% of the crowd would have flown on Indigo to come to this event as well, I would guess. So maybe your clear thoughts on how the trade imbalance, because you would see more exports than imports.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks very much, Satish. And welcome to everyone. And those who did come on Indigo, I hope it was on time. I want to just put into a little bit of context this whole imbalance piece in India, because in my sort of 10 years of experience of operating wide-body freighters at my previous organization and narrow-body here, there is a real challenge with the import-export imbalance. Generally speaking, there's a lot coming in from the east. There's not much going out. There's a lot going out to the west, but not much coming in. So it's very difficult for all cargo operators to really be in this space, which is one of the reasons why not one single Indian airline has got a wide-body freighter on their registration as of today. So hopefully that will change. So that's part of the challenge. The other challenge that I think we have in India, when you compare ourselves to other global, I'd say, air cargo hubs in the region, is that India's got multiple hubs. Even in the south, we're talking about 4 major hubs. In the north, we're talking about more. If you look to you look at the Dubais or the Hong Kongs or the Singapores of the world, it's all concentrated in one place. So that's a huge challenge from an infrastructure point of view. But it's also a massive opportunity. And there are so many opportunities. And when I look at India and I look at what you need as a recipe for success for import and export, you've got manufacturing capability, you've got a population that's growing that wants consumption, so one's export, one's import. You've got runways. You've got a government that's dedicated to growing their air cargo business and the general cargo business. And you've got a lot of talent, right? So you have so many I think, so many bits and pieces that we can bring together and go forward. And even in the last week, we've seen some really good dialogue, driven a lot by ACFI's lobbying over the years about how we can, I think, push some of the big agenda items that they need for India to succeed. And a lot of that is around things like transshipment, as you know, and we're talking a lot about that. If I look at the space where Indigo is today, we obviously have an aspiration to grow and to become wide body. And it's only when we get into wide bodies that I really consider we've become a real grown-up cargo operator. Today, we're accounting for probably 2% of air cargo import-export. I think the Tata Group's probably more like 12%, but the rest of it is international carriers. So, I see that as a project of mine, both growing our cargo capability and growing our capability around the world to sell into India. But what I have to do in the meantime is to look where Indigo is, and in the context of today's conference as a southern conclave, we have 750 departures every day in the south. We operate in 19 cities from 4 airports alone in the south. So it's a huge opportunity. Admittedly, we're only at times uplifting 1 ton or 2 tons, but if you put those departures together over a year, it's 250,000 tons of cargo. So it's a big opportunity. So coming back to Sanjeev's point earlier about tier 2, tier 3 cities, whilst I don't have the capability at the moment to really service the wide body and the palletized freight that I know a lot of you pharma guys need and want, and we'll get there, I'm trying to piece together these tier 2, tier 3 cities, feeding and doing merge and transit, as it were, either feeding other carriers, which we do a lot of, by the way, for all these cities around the south, and growing that way. So that's my sort of first phase, is how can we grow tier 2, tier 3, particularly in the south? And then from there, it's about growing our capability. But I do feel that between the Air India group and the Tata group and us, projecting 5-10 years, you're going to see a very, very different, and I hope this is the case for you guys, a very different landscape here, where you'll have a lot of homegrown Indian capacity that can really help drive this market, and it will work both ways. So that's my sort of 2 cents worth at the moment.
No, I think you really summed it up in terms of the narrow body capacities to the wide body, because that's something that we all are missing out, is that you may see a lot of domestic aircrafts going, but thanks to carriers like Indigo who've started to go to airport like Rajahmundry. 25 years ago, when I went to see my wife, I didn't have an aircraft there. But now you've connected to Delhi and even to Bombay, So, and with an A320 in Rajahmundry, you've created the capacity. But that whole capacity doesn't get utilized today because probably you don't have a customs airport, or you don't have the officers available, the complexity. Even an airport like Vijayawada today, with Amravati being the capital, is not a customs airport. So you hardly have even 100 kilos of cargo, both domestic, leaving those airports. So definitely there is an opportunity that is going unutilized. And probably I'll come back to you on your thoughts on it, but let me get to Amritendu, because end of the day, your cargo is not going to get manufactured in the metros like Delhi, Bombay, because you don't have space. There's huge congestion. But at the same time, you're trucking the cargo all the way from, say, Srikakulam into Hyderabad today. Or your cargo gets manufactured in Srikakulam but ends up in Visakhapatnam. So one is the imbalance of the import and export. But now I'm getting into a little more sort of it, is that where should the capacity actually be there? At the place where the manufacturing happens, because today, if you're going to spend 5 or 4 hours to get it out of your factory, get your gate pass done, and then take another 14, 16 hours to get into an airport, then do a custom clearance, we've lost a lot of time. Is there a potential that you can see in terms of the balance being done in terms of the capacity versus, because now Bogapuram may come up, but how do you see that? Because in the last 25 years, that's not changed. Probably I'll retire, but it may not change. But your thoughts on it?
So actually, when he was mentioning, I was actually thinking of the same issue. The problem is, the entire network, what we operate. So you actually mentioned the same point. But before I answer to that question, one thought for everybody is, I think we are talking about trade imbalance for in and out. One major factor what I see causing that is lack of visibility. Okay. Today, as a logistics head, do I have a visibility in terms of what's that imbalance, how much of what is coming in which carrier, from where and where it is going?
how do I optimize that deficit? Is there a way for me to see it? I don't think today we do have any place where we see the entire capacity, what's there, what's not there. I'm talking about what I have learned from the school, Dr. Mathur. It's called Uberization of freight. And that's the concept I think he has spoken in ACFI's sessions earlier also. And I would harp upon that. We somewhere need to bring that visibility for somebody to at least know, okay, this is there. This is a place where you can optimize, because as an organization, we are very cost conscious. We would like to definitely harp upon any opportunity where it gives us a leverage in terms of seeing, okay, this is the way it makes sense for both the parties. He's today running a deficit. Today I have something surplus there. I can have a discussion. I can figure out some arrangement. But for that, visibility is important. Coming to your question, I was actually thinking that today, the way it happens is I move out the goods from my SEZ in Srikakulam, then it traverses through there and comes to Hyderabad, and then it gets unloaded, goes into the farmer zone, stays there, then the booking, carting order comes, again it goes in. Now, just imagine an operation where all these touches are not there. You go to the Vizag airport, whichever airport, I will not go into the naming now, you get into that airport, that is a wide body aircraft. That ULD comes down at this airport, and then it is directly connected to the export freighter which is there in the airport. You don't have to again bring it in, do scan, do anything, and again load it, again get it back. You are removing a lot of touches in this process. You are improving your overall speed of business. You are actually optimizing. These are the things which we need to start thinking upon to increase the speed, agility, all those parts, because whatever you do, whenever you touch, you need resources. You need resources, you either introduce complexity, you increase price, you do everything. Let us figure out how we can streamline those parts. It can be done. That's the point.
No, you've touched very critical aspects, and I think I read your mind when Mark was speaking. The reason why I'm telling this is that the express industry and C2C, which Mr. Ravi Kumar spoke about, from the place of pickup to the final delivery into the US, we do it in less than 4 days now. And the TAT time given to us internally is 2.5. So now if some other industry is able to do, why can't the cargo industry do? Because if you are still looking at a TAT time of 5 days for mango, God save us, because it's already half-cooked sort of a situation. So let me go to Michelle, because you said that we are more an IT company now, sort of it. And that is where I think Amritendu brought up it, is it? No visibility today. We all know what is the fare to go to Prayagraj, Agnes, Bangkok today. That's a big subject that we are all hearing in sort of it. But we don't see those side of a visibility in the cargo industry today. And I think Cargo One was trying to come into India, but for some reason they couldn't come in. But that is the way forward, like he said. You should be knowing what capacity is getting wasted on the flights today. Because if Indigo says, look, we've lost so much of space, we could have sent it at 10 rupees lesser or 12 rupees lesser in terms of it. Probably it could be the next level of the imbalance being settled down. And even if you are able to achieve a 20%, it's a big number in terms of what we do. So what's your thoughts on that, Michelle?
Thank you, Satish. Today, India is a big production hub across all verticals. And if you look at the South, most productions happen today, if you look, is just not the South, but pan-India. Production is no longer in the big cities. It's entire 2, Tier 3 cities. For the South, we are blessed. We've got 3 good airports, 3 top international airports, all which could be reached within an overnight journey. And production that takes place, the government has done their part by giving us infrastructure to start up production. They've given us world-class amenities of your national highways is as good as any global to compete with. But I see that the industry has a lot of problem. Production takes place, but then it needs to reach one of the main airports. And then it's a lot of money which is involved, because he's basically ferrying a full truck and then he's coming back on an empty vehicle. It also increases the logistics time to connect onto your shipment. So that is another problem. If you look at the environment, your carbon footprint increases because of vehicles coming back empty. So I think this needs to be addressed collectively by all the airport operators. I think we all need to come together as a single unit. look at the ICD type of a concept. Customs are always willing to support us. And, where we can have drop-off points, and especially in, the cities with tier 2, tier 3, where you have a lot of production which comes out. So that would, ease out the burden, but how do we get over there? So I think we need to work on a situation where we can create an app, a South Airport app or something like that, where we go to factories and the factory manager just uploads his choice of airport that he wants his shipment to, his gateway that he wants to move to, and just have the shipments dropped off. And once you drop off the shipment, and then we consolidate, and depends what needs to go to Bangalore, what needs to go to Chennai, what needs to go to Hyderabad or Cochin, it continues its onward journey. And similarly, the imports come in on the return vehicles, and then the factories pick up goods from there. So that would be a first start to get things moving in the right direction. But with change, it takes some time to come in. So I think a lot more roadshows needs to be done, because most of these production houses are also old companies in cities who know and who have moved to these places. So I think we need to do a lot of roadshows out in these areas to educate the production side, the logistics side of the business, that how we can make things easy for the industry, and work towards this concept of consolidation.
So my point now to Arun would be, is that now that you are hearing so many versions and ideas coming out of it, what do you think is one of the biggest pain areas as a supply chain head of an organization for you today? Trade imbalance is one part of it, but if we are not able to address your pain or Amritendu's pain or even Mr. Ravi Kumar, then the whole purpose of this conclave does not really make sense. And my whole purpose of driving this is that what is that we can do really for the trade ultimately, because you will drive efficiency, you will increase, use maximum of the capacity, because today a lot of capacity is getting wasted. So where is you think is the pain area for you all as a supply chain heads today?
So one is capacity, this thing what Amritindu told, the consolidation options from the different ports and clubbing into one ULD and connecting from a different port. But the turnaround time and the other thing we need to evaluate. But as a company, as a healthcare or any company, we believe in cost leadership. So that part we are facing. And when it comes to a sustainability, so turnaround time, service efficiency, and the patient-centric approach, these are all the 1, 2 things we generally consider. But at the same time, how you ensure the sustainability in air cargo. For example, if you ask me honestly, the sustainable method, like now we are talking on ESG and other compliant things. So organization is putting pressure on the conversion of SAF and the green fuel and other initiatives, but there is a cost limit. So for me as a head of supply chain, to balance the cost versus the sustainable initiatives, that's giving us little trouble. So that is the only thing what I look at this moment. Otherwise, volume consolidation per se, this is one of the good initiative we should adopt or explore, because we should have a collaborative things, because now we can use AI and other blockchain techniques where is the capacity available, and accordingly we can move or something. So there is an opportunity in that area.
No, great. So let me go to Mr. Ravi again on the important aspect. Kenya has done a lot in terms of what they did for the perishable industry, and we have used cases of how Kenya does the 747 in terms of getting into the Europe as a good classic case. Mark spoke about not having one single wide body aircraft by any Indian carrier. Okay, unfortunately that's the truth. What would be your one wish if you had to ask all of us here in the stage and off the stage in the government, is that what should we be doing to really support the perishable industry? Because there is an opportunity, you said. People want to buy our Indian mangoes. They're ready to pay. The dollar is going to go to 86. My prediction is it will touch 100 also for multiple reasons. So the exporters are happy in one way. If you get remittances, on that the importer is not happy. So what is that we can do in terms of really balancing it out from both the capacity versus price versus optimization?
Yeah. So there is a big trade gap, what I see. There is a more of a localized kind of trade what is happening now. Look at, let us introspect the Mumbai. So the Mumbai, there are 2 gamma irradiation centers, and there is an airport, there is an ocean freight available close to, and there is a very good agro system. Systems and processes are very well defined. Maharashtra is known for the cooperative system for ages. That is a very, very important is what is the kind of product required, the quality maintenance, quality, and the product. When it comes to the major, when we have a leadership in the world, say number 1 in mango, government initiatives also needed to kind of assist the industry, the farming community, what type of assistance they can. So Pakistan is helping the transport assistance. Many countries are giving the assistance like a transport assistance. Even today, in the earlier years, the government of India, the APEDA also used to provide transport assistance. Over a period of time, they have, taken off. So really, if you wanted to, need more, kind of support, I wanted to mention another point to increase the capacities, the trade difference. I just gave in Mumbai. For example, you also mentioned, we get mangoes from Andhra Pradesh, Rajahmundry to Bangalore, then again from there process it for 2 days, then export to US. So there is only one place in the entire South India to process and certify the, if at all we wanted to export mangoes to US, Australia and Malaysia. This is a prerequisite is the gamma irradiation. There is only one center for that to a private enterprise. There is no for example, you take the Maharashtra as such, there are 2 government, sponsored or promoted gamma irradiation. So if you see that, again the question being asked is, the Banganpalli mangoes are known for in Andhra and, Telangana. So there is no facility here to process it. So all the way it is going to the Karnataka. For example, we are having discussions with the government of Uttar Pradesh. Very strongly they wanted an assistance how to promote the North Indian mangoes. Hardly, not even nowhere in the export category. But it means that the product is not good. They're all the GI tagged mangoes. Dasheri, Chausa, Langda. So they're all the very, very known. But there is no processing. What we are doing is getting the mangoes from the Uttar Pradesh and Sharanpur or Maliabad to Bangalore and process it and export. See, there is there is a policy decisions and policy support and infrastructure capacity development is very much needed to promote the exports like perishables.
No, you've touched upon such important aspect because all this time we were also thinking is that, they're not exporting because the airlines are not able to give space or whatever it is.
That is always there. Yeah. We are losing 25% of this the export because of the lack of space. For kind information, I would like to highlight here, out of 500 shipments, 26 shipments were offloaded in the transit. There is a huge loss.
No, agreed. So, but I'm also saying is now at least the good sign for all of us is that more carriers are coming in, capacity is coming in. Area 1 is a different subject because Mark can speak about it because he is more an authority on it. But I think you've also touched upon many years ago, Indian Airlines at that point of time and Air India had a specific commodity rate where we used to get specific rate for a specific commodity. And that got abolished. I don't know whether it is a time to relook at that to support the perishable industry, but I'll leave it to Mark probably to say what is that we can do to support someone like this, because if there is an opportunity, how do we capitalize on it?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. And mangoes is a fantastic product for airlines because of the density. We love mangoes, right? But I think one of the issues about capacity comes back to the whole title of this session, which is about the imbalance. Because when airlines are looking at the exports from India, they have to justify that round trip for the 747 freighter or the 777 freighter or whatever. So that's a real challenge. And over time, that imbalance will even out. But in my previous existence, when I was operating 747s, there was huge seasonal demand that we wanted to try and satisfy. But when you did the sums, it was so difficult to justify it because you had an empty leg, and on an empty leg in a 747, easily $100,000. So it's very, very tough. A couple of other things I just wanted to sort of pick on. Unfortunately, we have to we have to accept that cargo capacity, 50% of cargo capacity in the world, and in India it would be higher, goes on passenger aircraft. Passenger aircraft is going to drive where the capacity is, unfortunately. So in the case of India, and say the European or the US carriers coming in who will have lots of space to go out, they're going to be going to the cities where they have the passenger demand and they have the big hubs, right? So it's really tough. If you've got production in a tier 2 to tier 3 city, very unlikely you're going to get American Airlines operating into there direct to the west coast of the US. So, you know, we've got to try and find ways of feeding that. And infrastructure and visibility is a really important one, and I agree with you on this, and we're miles behind the passenger business in terms of distribution and visibility. You know, you talk about these aggregators, I believe in them, and we're going to sign up to one as well, because trying to get the world to understand where we have space, where we don't have space is really key. Where the other party that's important to that is the airports, and I have to say, and it's not because I'm sitting here in Hyderabad, but the two big airports in this part of the world, right, and we know where they are, Hyderabad and Bangalore, obviously, have got very focused cargo teams who often approach us, and it doesn't always work out, but they'll often approach us and say, look, there's an opportunity here. We know this carrier is struggling with their capacity. They need to feed into here. Can you come and look at it? And, you know, and often I'll have conversations with them around a freighter. It's difficult to make it work because of the cost. But hey, if there are 10 requests, maybe one will work, and then we'll grow it from there. So airports play a very important role. And just coming back to another point about infrastructure, we talk a lot about transshipment, ULD, shipper build ULDs, you know, very common in other parts of the world, very difficult here because of security, as is transshipment. But I always think it's good to give examples. I was in a tier 3, I guess, city yesterday where Indigo has 13 departures. Now, because there's no cargo facility there, we have a cargo team there, but there's no real cargo facility. All cargo has to be tendered to the passenger terminal before 4:30 in the morning. And we have departures all the way through to about 9 p.m. at night. So, for example, my flight coming from this city to Bombay was leaving at 8 p.m. If I'm a shipper, I've got to bring my cargo 16 hours before the departure. I mean, it's already there on a truck. There's no point. I'm not going to consider air cargo. I'm not. And am I going to consider production here? If you're looking at putting a pharma plant somewhere, that's a big question, right? What are you going to do? But that's just a small one. And then I'm sure that, and I know this particular airport, for example, which is great. They're building a new terminal right next door that will open next year, and there is a cargo terminal. So that will totally change that, and it will totally change our cargo uplift from that particular station as well. But that's just another small bit of infrastructure that needs addressing. And I think Sanjeev again talked about that, and he got my eye on that one because I see it as a huge opportunity. Of the 100 airports that we operate domestically, we can only operate cargo out of 60. The rest are close to cargo, mainly for security reasons. Sometimes you can do inbound, but you can't do outbound, with the exception sometimes of things like human remains or compassionate cargo, but that's not our core business.
So the reason why this session was also put is for the audience and the rest to know, the custom law as far as outbound exports is concerned for courier, is your value can be 25,000 and there's no weight restriction on the size of the shipment. Whereas it is for imports, there's a 70 kilos weight restriction. If a shipment is over 70 kilos, it can't come under a courier mode. So, but surprisingly, India has 25,000, whereas US has, it can be USD 800. So the normal tendency of everyone is you declare 25,000 and send it to the US. So one is if you can even get the balance sorted out, there is a great opportunity from a customs angle of attracting a lot more things better in terms of how you can get it. So currently why you don't see a lot of people ordering online for your imports is because the law is not so conducive in terms of how you can bring your imports, e-commerce shipments into the country, but the outbound is brilliant and that's growing. And if that can be addressed, probably some bit of an imbalance can do. To add to what everyone is speaking, maybe the last round of questions, maybe Mark, you or Amritendu, what would be one final wish that you would want from the government in terms of change in the regulation both for imports and exports? Because Sandeep Prakash has been one who's almost calling and telling us that tell us what you want from us and we are happy to bend our backs to support the industry. He spoke about the AUO's option. He spoke about close to 90+% of cargoes now going under risk management. Is there anything from that angle that you need from a government standpoint or a custom standpoint? Then ACFI can probably take it up with the authorities and really take the step ahead.
Well, I mean, from my point of view, I'll start there. It comes back to the point about a lot of TP and transshipment, right? Because for us, you know, with our tier 2, tier 3 spread, it's all going to be about finding big hubs in which to transship and ship from there. So that's a key one. And I know a lot of work is going on in that area, but you know, I'm also surprised sometimes when I sort of understand or learn that, you know, I learn things every day here. You know, I always assumed that ramp was a sterile area. It's not a sterile area here. It is in most places I've worked. And that then, oh, we got another challenge. How are we going to address that? You know, I think we should also look very closely at corridors, green corridors. You know, the US pioneered this years ago, where they will heavily audit countries, and they will decide whether or not that country can have a green channel, even for transit through somewhere like Hong Kong and beyond. I think that's something we really need to work on as well. And it will take time, but start that now, because going forward it's going to be key to the growth.
No, great. I think, Sanjeev, we've got some homework to do. Maybe Amritendu, you want to?
So, wish, you said, no? Make a wish. I have to be cautious. Sometimes wishes can be dangerous also. So one wish which I would look forward from facilitation from the government is, we are a tier 3 certified organization. So I would link to what Mark just mentioned is, we do see there is a definite improvement in terms of the inbound and outbound scrutiny that happens at the customs and all. But apart from doing that exports and imports, there are certain associated benefits also which comes as part of that. Many a times we find there are challenges. Those are because of lack of understanding. Most of the cases what we have seen is it is lack of understanding, and that happens because the people who ask these queries are constantly on the move, I think because the job demands it. So even though you have explained to the previous officer what is that about, and then the next one comes and again puts another thing. So, and then another one comes to put another thing. Perspectives change and the queries change. We need to figure out a way. We are doing this business for last 40 years. We are in the business of healthcare. We have our standard HSN codes. We are tier 3 certified. If these are all check boxes which are ticked. Now, if these are ticked, then what can be there to ask? Put a mechanism to it. It cannot be based on everybody's perception, because then my only request is we need to have speed in all aspects. That's where things change. That's where you find a difference between ChatGPT and DeepSeek. That's how it comes, because it is not necessary that you have to spend 800 crores to build something which can be done in 80 crores, right? You do it by finding out these places and then doing. Green channel is a way. We do green channel when I started auto industry, we used to do green channel for the material which is coming inbound, because we have already certified their quality audit systems. We have certified the material at the supplier's location. We have done. So there are checks and balances in place. Let us do this. When business is happening, let business happen. If you need, we can do a separate audit session, do a sampling, get the things clarified, done. But we need to think something on that part.
No, sure. I think technology being there, speed is the essence. You can always have past records available for officers to refer of saying is that if Dr. Reddy's is shipping, you have software like Freshwork and rest of them which can give you a historical data as well. I don't think that is difficult, but we can always put this to the officers and see. And like it is always said that the same interpretation by a different high court is different from another high court. And invariably it depends on the mood of the officer and whether he fought with his wife on that particular day sometimes. So we understand that, but we can figure that out. Maybe, Ravi, if you have any thoughts that we can look at it, and then I can summarize and then leave it for questions.
Yeah, I see that the major constraint or the opportunity for the Indian perishables or the freight space. I think the airlines should consider to provide the enough space for the perishables, at least to encourage, promote the trade need to give a seasonal freighter services for a shorter time. See, the thing, for example, the mango lasts for 2 to 3 months, and we are ready. Even now, I am negotiating, I am talking to many people. I do not see any kind of the reply or answer. So when a service provider and exporter ready to, to invest and send the bulk commodity, perishable commodity, especially to US or Australia, I'm cutting down the cost, the time from 3 days to 1 day. So only the refilling at maybe transit hubs, otherwise my you see, whatever the 20% damages, whatever the offloading, whatever all our problems are solved. The greatest wish is, I think you should please take it at a level wherein whatever it is, maybe a banana, maybe a pomegranate, roses during the Valentine's Day. So that's what
good, because you brought it up. Just to give you some more insight, at one point of time, baby corn exports, India was nowhere. It was at 12th
Absolutely.
place. Today, we are at a good number. We've come to a single digit. I don't know whether it's 1 or 2. We were competing with Thailand. So I think we've come a long way in terms of some of the commodities. But you rightly said that there is a scope for it. And fortunately, we've got Ramesh from Air India, we've got Mark and all. Probably you can do an offline discussion on how the perishable industry can be strongly supported and even what EPEDA can play in the whole process. We can speak to someone like Dr. Sudhanshu and take his inputs. But I think we hear you loud and clear, and probably as ACFI we will take this up. Either Arun or Michelle, if you want to have any other last word before we leave it for open questions. Okay. So I don't know how much time we have, but we can take a few questions if anyone has questions. Okay. Can the mic be passed on, Dhiren?
Hi.
Maybe you should introduce yourself while I know, but it's working.
Hi. Vijay Kumar. I represent the Express Industry Council of India. First, before I put in my observation, just a clarity. As far as courier shipments are concerned, there is no value restrictions of the nature that you had said. For import, there is no value restriction, nor is there a weight restriction. For export also, there is no value restriction. However, there are value restrictions based on the courier shipping bills that you file. So earlier there was a 25,000 value restrictions. Today it has gone up to 10 lakhs. So most of your e-commerce shipments actually go in.
That's the CSB 5 and CSB 4.
That's right.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the routine ones of the C2C.
Yeah. So, okay. So primarily that value restriction which we were talking about has been removed now. It has been enhanced to 10 lakhs. Now just when Amradendu was speaking, one of the things that came to my mind was primarily, and again which Mark also had alluded during his discussion. I think there is a lot that has been done as far as the regulatory climate is concerned. I mean, I have been in this field for the last several years now, and I've seen major changes that have come in customs. I have seen major changes that have come in other regulatory climate. However, what happens is once few things that get constrained, and then the entire ecosystem goes for a toss. Let's take this thing that he had said about his shipments going in from his factory directly into the airport or into the hold of the aircraft. Now, if you were to look at most other airports like in Europe or most other countries, there is something called a known shipper concept. Once you have the known shipper concept, you are a Mercedes or a Siemens, you can come directly into the airport. It doesn't even get into the X-ray there. It goes directly to the holder. I mean, it goes into the airport and then it gets carried into the aircraft. And that's true with whether you're talking about a common user facility like in Frankfurt, or you're talking about any integrated facility out there. Point number 2 is, and now this is interesting, about 7 years back, we had the courier ECCS, Express Cargo Clearance System, which happened. It's a completely paperless system. It's about 7.5 years now. It's a completely paperless system. About 4 or 5 years back, we had a completely automatic OCC, that is out of charge for exports. So today, let export order is about 5 years back, our let export order was completely, online. But there is one aspect which is still an issue, which is basically single window clearance. Today, even though single window is available in cargo, in courier the single window clearance is not there. So about 15 to 20% of our shipments, they get stuck there. So I would think that, from a regulator point of view, there are these small pain points which are there, which can easily be solved, but then they just sit on the ground and then they, they just ensure that the overall ecosystem doesn't benefit. So this is where
good. Also, just to add to what you say, the awareness at various officers level does not exist. Now you've given a clarification, but that's not the case on the ground. Every day I'm facing that battle for everyone, because they say, no, we don't have the clarity. So I think as you have to then probably, like someone said, that awareness and these workshops have to be created to tell them that you are still living in the old age and the law has changed. Because today if you ask even UPS or any one of them, they're going to tell you the same answer, saying is that above 70 we will not be able to move. So,
that 70 limit is primarily related to their internal systems. It's not related to a regulator system. It is that UPS will not carry anything above 70 kilos because their internal system is catering to that kind of. They have products which they can take above 70 kilos.
Sure. Anyone else? Okay, Vazwaji here.
Two things, as Vijay has just been saying about that, the 70 kilos restriction of UPS, which you just mentioned. It is the carrier's regulation, because their internal belts which carry the loads into the aircraft, into the freighters, has weight restriction. Like when you check your baggage, they don't want to take more than 32 kilos per piece, because there is a issue of the conveyor belt. Second thing, what Mark has been saying, Mark, you mentioned that the 40% belly capacity is still empty on all your flights. You're operating from 100 airports. The ideal situation, Satish, would be that we have to identify what products are being developed from those cities where the custom is not available. And with the support of custom is really out to support the industry. And with the EDIM system if we can work with customs to clear cargo from these cities, Air India and Indigo is available from those cities. And we can, as Dr. Ravi was just mentioned, loss of perishable product. We can connect from domestic inland points into the main hubs to connect to the wide-bodied flights. And greatly it is going to help the perishable industry. We immediately clear the cargo, put it on Air India or Indigo flights. They have empty belly capacity, and connect to the main hubs and carry it. It is greatly going to reduce a lot of transit time. That will greatly help all our players, where we are all working. It's an air freight, or we are all, whether it's an express cargo or heavy cargo, we are all working against time. And developing transshipment business is the answer. So that it's a win-win situation, Satish, for everybody.
Thank you.
Yep.
I've been told by my son that the time is up, so I'll probably ask, I think a big round of applause to my fellow panelists for bringing out a lot of things that we as ACFI have to work, and we are committed. And I think, Vijay, we will want more inputs from you as well in terms of what we can do. Over to you, Anupama.
So, Satish, wasn't it an exciting session there? I think wherever there is a challenge, wherever there is a gap, I think there is an opportunity. That was what was a takeaway for me from this panel discussion. And now I call upon Mr. Sanjeev Edward on stage to felicitate the participants, please. So, Mr. Amritendu Mukherjee, Vice President, Head Global Logistics, Dr. Reddy's Laboratories. Mr. Mitchell Coates. Mr. Arun Kumar Nair. Dr. K.S. Ravi. Mr. Mark Such. And our dynamic moderator, Mr. Satish Lakkaraju.